When we think of a city, we think of buildings, right? Bricks, mortar, stacking things up from the ground. But what if a civilization did the complete opposite? What if they decided to carve their entire city down into the rock? Well, today we're going to explore exactly that. Let's dive into the incredible, almost impossible city of Petra.
This quote, it just captures the magic of Petra so perfectly. I mean, this was a thriving capital, a total masterpiece of art and engineering, all created by a people who had completely mastered their harsh environment. And then, poof, it was just swallowed up by the desert and basically vanished from the history books, at least for the Western world.
I mean, that's a wild thought, isn't it? How does a city this massive just disappear from the map, from the memory of pretty much the entire world? Well, to figure that out, we've got to look at the people who kept it secret, and the one explorer who literally risked his life to find it again.
So, for hundreds of years, as empires came and went, Petra wasn't really lost. It was more like hidden. Its location was this super closely guarded secret, kept safe by the local Bedouin tribes. For anyone else, it was just a legend, like a ghost story you might hear from other travelers crossing the Jordanian desert.
So who were these geniuses who built this place? They were called the Nabataeans. Now, they started out as nomadic traders, but they got crazy rich by controlling the ancient trade routes for things like frankincense and myrrh. But their real talent, the thing that truly set them apart, wasn't just finding water in the desert, it was taming it. They learned how to control the most violent flash floods and turn them into a lifeline.
But, things change. Sea trade routes started becoming more popular, and Petra's importance just faded. By about 1200 AD, it was basically empty. It went back to being just a legend until 1812. That's when a Swiss explorer, Johann Ludwig Burckhardt, did something incredibly daring. He disguised himself as an Arab scholar, he was fluent in Arabic, and he managed to convince a local guide to take him to the lost city. He became the first Westerner to lay eyes on it in 600 years. Can you imagine that moment?
All right, so the journey into Petra is just as amazing as the city itself. You don't just, walk up to a date. You enter through something called the Seek. It's this huge natural crack in the mountain, and it's the perfect example of how the Nabataeans didn't fight nature, they worked with it.
This gorge twists and turns for over a kilometer, and as you walk through it, it honestly feels like you're stepping into another world. The temperature drops, all the noise from the outside just disappears, and the only thing you can hear is the sound of your own footsteps echoing off those massive stone walls.
And right here inside these walls, this is where you see their absolute genius. They took a huge, dangerous problem, these insane seasonal flash floods, and turned it into their biggest advantage. They didn't just try to survive the floods, they literally harvested them. They built dams, carved these incredible water channels right into the canyon walls, and funneled every last drop into massive hidden reservoirs. They basically engineered their very own oasis.
So you keep walking, and the canyon walls just keep getting taller, soaring up to 80 meters high. It gets to a point where they almost block out the sun. It's like this incredible natural theater, building up the suspense for the big reveal you know is coming just around the corner.
And then it happens. Through this little sliver of an opening, you get your first glimpse. It's Al-Khazna, the Treasury. Look, it's one of the most famous sites on the planet, but I'm telling you, no photo, no video, nothing can prepare you for the feeling of seeing it emerge from the dark canyon with your own eyes.
Now, the name the Treasury is actually a bit of a myth. The local legend was that an Egyptian pharaoh hid his gold in that big urn at the very top. You can actually see bullet holes where people tried to shoot it open to get the treasure out. But the reality, well, it's even more mind-blowing. First off, it's a tomb, not a bank. And that urn, solid rock. And get this entire thing, as tall as a 13-story building, wasn't built at all. It was carved. And they did it from the top down, chipping away the rock, which meant they didn't even need scaffolding. The precision is just staggering.
And yeah, okay, you definitely know this place. It's where Indiana Jones found the Holy Grail. But the real magic here isn't some Hollywood movie prop. It's the absolutely mind-boggling skill of the real people who created this, 2,000 years ago.
And here's the thing. A lot of people see the Treasury, and they think, okay, I've seen Petra. But that's the big mistake. The Treasury isn't the city. Nope, it's just the grand entryway, the spectacular front door. The real city is waiting just beyond it.
Once you walk past that famous facade, the whole valley just opens up, and you realize you're in a massive city. Picture a main street, but instead of shops, it's lined with these huge carved tomb fronts. Then you've got the royal tombs with these incredible swirling colors and the natural rock. Oh, and a 7,000-seat theater, also carved right out of the mountain. This place was home to 30,000 people. It was a bustling capital with markets, gardens, fountains, all running on that amazing water system we talked about.
But wait, there's more. For anyone who's up for a serious climb, I'm talking 800 steps carved into the mountain, there's another, maybe even greater marvel. It's called Ed-Daer, the monastery. It's tucked away from the main part of the city, and it is just colossal. It's actually bigger, both taller and wider, than the Treasury itself.
Okay, so you've seen the Treasury, you've walked the streets, maybe you even climbed up to the monastery. You think you've seen Petra? Well, prepare yourself for what is, to me, the single most incredible fact about this entire place. 85%.
Yep, 85% of Petra is still buried underground. Archaeologists are pretty sure that everything we see today, that's only about 15% of the whole city. The rest of it, people's homes, villas, maybe even more incredible tombs, it's all still down there, buried under the sand by centuries of earthquakes and erosion.
Which brings us to the final amazing question, doesn't it? Petra has already shown us some of the most breathtaking wonders in the world. But what if its biggest secrets are still waiting to be discovered? It just goes to show you, history isn't always something in a book. Sometimes it's literally right there, just waiting, right under our feet.